Hello, welcome back to Zenith Unlocked Freedom from Addiction. We are making our way through this as this is the last session of the fourth key on doing the opposite action of your addiction. So far, we've learned tremendous lessons from the examples of Michael Jordan, Sylvester Stallone, and Dr. Seuss on how to put in the work, overcome failure, and accomplish your goals. However, we should look at what to do if or when failure happens. We will talk more about this in the 10th key on how to persevere. However, right now you can start better handling yourself if you fail at doing the opposite action and need to get back on track. Personally, I have failed many times in this. When I was in rehab, I would continually rationalize getting drunk or taking drugs, giving up weeks or months of hard work for mere moments of fun. As a result, I remember staying up in my bed at night, agonizing over my decisions and how I thought I had failed too greatly to ever recover. I thought that I was a huge loser and would never make anything of myself. Even though I was only 19, I thought I'd missed my shot in life and that I would never be able to overcome my addictions. Little did I know that 2 years later I would be free. Just 2 years later, I would quit everything I was addicted to and walk away from my addictions and do the opposite actions. I will admit, within those few years, I did give up a few times. However, thankfully, I was able to get back to work and fight again to eventually find freedom. So do not respond to failure like I did by going back to your addiction for 2 more years or more. See yourself better than I saw myself. Hit the restart button, pick up the pieces and get back to work and do what you have been doing. To better explain what I mean, here are 5 steps to take to recover yourself if you find yourself messing up and giving into your addiction. First, look at the war, not the battle. Every war ever fought usually consists of many battles that are won and lost by both sides. In World War II, the Allied forces looked pretty dismal as the Nazis had taken over much of Europe and really only had England left to conquer. To many, it may have looked like the war was almost over. However, with the arrival of American forces in 1942 and the help from other Allied countries, the war started going the other way and the Allies ended up defeating the Nazis on May 8, 1945. It would have been wrong to have assumed that after the fall of France, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, and Belgium in 1940, that the war was over and the Nazis would win. The same can be said of you if you fail. The second step is to learn from your failure. See it as a learning experience that informs you to make better choices. In a weird way, you can count it as a win as it actually taught you how to succeed at doing the opposite action better. Number 3, reestablish your trajectory. Refocus on your goal. As soon as you can, think about where you want to go. Think about the life you want to live and focus on that as you get back to work instead of dwelling on your mistake. Step 4, remember that you are not really starting over. You are not the same person who you were when you first started trying to quit your addiction. You are not even the same person you were when you started this course. You have learned so much. You are not starting over. You are starting from where you left off. You are on a 10,000-foot mountain and you tripped and fell at, let's say, at 5,000 feet. If you fall 10 feet, you're not starting back at 0 feet. You're starting at 6,990 feet. 5th step, get back to work. Get back to it, use the insight you gained from the fall, and start moving forward again. The more days you get in between your last fall and your present moment, the better it will be and the easier it will get. And if you fall again, go back to number 1 on this list and do it again. Remember, you are not starting over, you are just repeating the process. Mistakes happen and you are in a place where they can be more likely to happen. Regardless of what your addiction is, your brain has been trained to give into it, and so you are working against that. I'm not saying that you should plan on failing, far from it, but I am saying that you should not beat yourself up too much if you do fail. You will eventually win the war in this fight. With the Nazis, there could have been a time and a way that they could have won. Who knows what would have happened if certain minor scenarios in that war did not happen the way that they did. However, with your war against your addiction, really the only thing that will make you lose is if you stop doing the opposite action of your addiction. So keep going. I know this makes it sound really simple and it feels a lot harder than that, but you can keep going. Quiet your mind when you start thinking otherwise. So yes, you may lose battles, but if you reassess and learn from your mistakes, take another look at where you want to go, get back up and get back to work, you will not fail overall. Take it from someone who failed several times, even after a year of rehab, but eventually I stopped failing because I kept fighting.